Scarface wasn't a gangster. He was actually a whole brand, okay?
Say hello to my little friend here. Oh! How'd you like that?
Listen, babe, Scarface wasn't just a movie. It was a lesson. It was an ego. It was a brand. It was ambition turned into obsession, and control turned into collapse. Okay, Tony Montana.
Stop. Tukis.
Hey Rich Babes, it's around Milan and welcome back to my channel. I love my Rich Babes. You guys have been so amazing and congrats to us to making 50,000 subscribers. I will be talking about that all week long. Okay, so let's get right into Tony Montana. You hear me? Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share, and I'll be back shortly.
Scarface is one of my favorite movies of all time, especially during my teenage years. But one thing I can't wrap my head around is how Tony Montana managed to become so powerful in the first place. His rags to riches story is insane, inspiring, but is low-key unbelievable. He didn't even have a green card at the beginning of the movie, being an immigrant in a camp, and within like an hour, the world is basically his. Now, Tony's a tough guy, able to take out the Colombians with a little bit of help from Manny, and he's also very bold. Like when he's working as a dishwasher and he gets offered a job that pays $500, Tony's in no position to decline, but he declines anyway and asks for a much higher price. So his strengths as a character are boldness and low-key being a Terminator. These are very good traits to have as an enforcer or a hitman or something along those lines. What I can't believe is how a guy like Alejandro Sosa, who's depicted as smart, gives Tony so much power, because he's clearly not in the right headspace, and for most of his life, he was poor and uneducated. If I was running $1 billion empire, I do not think I would give Tony Montana, the erratic tweaker, as much power as Alejandro Sosa did. But that's just me though. It doesn't take away from the fact this movie is really good. Just a thought I had.
Listen, babe, Tony Montana didn't just hustle coke, okay? He didn't just hustle coke. Like, he hustled identity, he built influence, and whether you love him or hate him, you remember him, and that's branding. And listen, this is the Money, Power, and Respect segment on this channel where we break down how psychology and strategy in sales show up in your favorite movies so you can stop watching the game and start mastering it, okay? So let's talk about Tony Montana. Okay, listen, he came to America with nothing but trauma, hunger, and a badass attitude, right? And in less than 2 hours of screen time, he went from a dishwasher to a drug lord to him. Okay, and while a lot of people only remember the guns and the smoke and the coke and this and the mansion, I remember the mindset, right? Like Tony Montana's rise and fall wasn't about the narcotics. It was about the power and the psychology of how to get it, how to sell it, and also how to lose it, okay?
One reason you might not want to be like Scarface. In the movie Scarface, the main character, Tony Montana, is seen as a symbol of ambition and power. And those are all traits that a man should look up to. The problem was the fact that Tony was the type to let his emotions and his ego get the best of him. Even though he embodied manhood with his ambition, he actually embodied a lack of manhood by not staying logical. And that's one of the reasons that led to his death. It's still a good movie though.
So here's the lessons that I actually got from the movie. He sold the vision before the actual value, all right?
Me, I want what's coming to me.
Oh, well, what's coming to you, Tony?
The world, Chico. And everything in it.
Everybody loves the movie Scarface, but you guys never even understood the real meaning behind it. And it's crazy because the whole underlying message is so prevalent nowadays and you don't even realize it. You guys are willing to sell your soul, do unethical things just to have the world. But is it really worth having if you had to sell your soul for it? Like seriously, you guys are in love with the fast money, scamming, doing immoral things. And then you wonder why it is that you feel so damn empty, because you did it with no real vision, with no real fulfillment. Do things that fulfill you. And I promise you, you can make money doing good things as well.
You like it. They tell you all the time what to do, what to think, what to feel. Do you want to be like a cheap? Like all those other people, man? Do you want to work 8, 10 fucking hours? You own nothing? You got nothing?
That blimp that said the world is yours, like that was more than just a flex. That was Tony claiming his brand position. See, real hustlers, real sellers don't just push a product, they sell a story, a vision. And Tony wasn't trying to just be rich, he was trying to be seen. Like he used reciprocity like a pro. He gave people what they wanted: protection and results, fear and reputation. And in return, they gave him power. Not because they loved him, but because they couldn't ignore him. And so that's the number one rule in business. Give value first. People will give you permission to lead, okay? The second lesson is that his authority wasn't built on money. It was built on certainty. When Tony spoke, it didn't matter if he had a penny in his pocket or $1 million. He carried authority in every room he walked into. He looked people in the eye. He never flinched, and he chose his words like a weapon. That's persuasion, and that's power, girl.
Me, I always tell the truth, even when I lie.
Listen, women in business, we need to take notes, okay? Because too many of us think that we need to earn authority before we actually claim it. No, babe, you need to walk into that room and own the space. The money will just catch up later. Tony didn't wait for no proof. He acted like the boss before the title even came through.
You want a job, buddy? Okay, then you call me tomorrow.
And people responded accordingly. Do you hear me, girl? Okay, period. Next lesson is that he weaponized social proof. Tony rose to the top. His image and the suits and the mansions and the women and the confidence became a signal. He let other people talk about him. He made sure his name was in rooms he haven't even entered into yet. He knew the power of perception. People followed him because they saw other people follow him, and that's social proof. So in business, this is your testimonies, your brand presence, your consistency being online. If people believe others trust you, they will trust you faster.
Your business genuinely might be failing because you don't have social proof and you don't understand what it is. So I recently spoke to a woman who had the worst website I've ever seen, who was not willing to update it because in her mind, the shoppers already identified that with her brand, and to her that was social proof. That is not how that works. Social proof is trusting the wisdom of the crowd, people who have ordered ahead of you and trusting that they got it right. Now there's another misconception that you have to have an influencer or a celebrity or a placement in a magazine to have social proof, but you don't, because if you don't have access to those, you can make it up in numbers and volume of regular people. The weight it carries to have 50 good reviews on your website, especially the kind that people have submitted photos to, can bring you way more money than an influencer posting you, and the ability to say that that influencer wore your product. There's different tiers to it. Even reposting someone to your stories is a low level of social proof, because at its core, it is just proof that other people are enjoying your product. So if you cannot access the big boys, go the opposite direction and make it up in volume. What I personally like to do is go after UGC creators and use their content on my site, in ads, and sometimes I will give out free product in exchange for a real review with a photo attached. Because going after 50 regular people can be way cheaper than one big placement or celebrity or influencer, and it'll bring you more money anyway.
Okay, you catching my drift? Okay. Stake though, like he built influence but didn't protect it. He let his personal chaos bleed into his public brand, and that's where the cracks began. All right. Another lesson I got from Scarface is that he lacked commitment and consistency. So let's be real, Tony Montana was powerful, but he also was unstable.
Fuck Gaspar Gomez and fuck the fucking Diaz brothers. Fuck them all. Me. That's who. Who do I trust? Me.
He wanted to be loyal, but his paranoia got louder than his actual purpose. And this is where the empire starts to shake. Because in sales and in business, like people only buy from you them that you are consistent. Like if your message changes every week, if your energy flops on a Tuesday, if you don't trust your own process, you lose the deal before ever even making it, right? So Tony committed to the grind, but not the actual system. And that inconsistency cost him everything.
I'm going to do you a favor and tell you the number one thing I've learned from going to business school and getting my MBA. So you don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars just to learn this lesson. And that is the importance of follow through. When I tell you I have been so shocked by the number of people who lack follow through. And this lack of follow through can show up in many different ways. Whether that's you sign up and say that you're going to an event, but you never show up. And you don't even tell the host in a timely manner, like, hey, I can't go. That lack of follow through can also be you sign up to be in a leadership position in a club or an organization, and you literally don't stay committed. You come up with any and every excuse to not do your work. You don't complete things to the standard that they need to be completed at, which is literally bare minimum. When you are putting your name on something and saying, hey, I signed up to do it, I'm going to do it. And I think what makes me so shocked by the volume of people that lack follow through is the fact that I'm literally at the #1 business school in the country. You would think that all of us coming from, very well-off jobs and roles, that people would know how to get work done, but they don't. They don't know how to get work done. They don't know how to commit, and people don't know how to follow through. And I think this is a lesson to any and everyone out there, no matter what area in life this might apply to. Following through is so important, because if you are not reliable, if people cannot trust you, it doesn't matter. Like, you don't have a good reputation. I'm telling you that right now. And that reputation follows you forever. So a little call to action. If you say you're going to do something, do it. And if you can't do it, communicate that. It's simple. It's simple.
If you want to be trusted as something, be it so much that your name comes up in rooms where you are not. Be it so much that you are the first person people think about when that thing comes up. Because that's how it works. Okay? Commit yourself to the bit, baby.
Okay. Another lesson is that he abused scarcity instead of actually mastering it.
You're all a bunch of fucking assholes. You need people like me.
So this one right here is really deep. Scarcity in business is supposed to create urgency and exclusivity, right? It's supposed to make people move, but Tony used scarcity to isolate. He pushed people away. He controlled them through fear and not finessing. He thought he was protecting himself, but really he was cutting off the flow. So in your business, don't confuse boundaries with isolation. Don't confuse power with loneliness.
There are really 4 types of scarcity. So you have supply related scarcity, and that is what it sounds like. There's a supply shortage. We all experienced it. Then there's demand related scarcity. So that's anytime you see most popular, bestseller, or you want to get into that crowded restaurant, that's all demand related scarcity. And then you have time related scarcity. So that's any restriction on time. So that's where time pressure comes in. But even there's so many different types. And then finally, it's limited edition. And limited edition is really supply related scarcity, but it just acts differently. But what's amazing about the different types too is that they don't appeal to everybody.
Right? So scarcity works when it's used strategically and not emotionally, okay? So what does this mean for you, Rych Babe? It means every boss babe watching this has 2 choices. Like, you can build your brand from ego and pain and hustle, or you can build it from psychology, clarity, and power. Like, Tony got the money and Tony also got the mansion, but Tony never scaled his mindset. And that's why his story ended in blood and not billions. Okay, listen, Tony Montana. Like, Scarface really teaches us the real game isn't money or muscle. It is the messaging, it is the positioning, it is the energy, and above all, it is the mindset. Okay, like, who else is with me here? So let me just ask you, are you building an empire that can survive success, or are you accidentally building your downfall disguised as a brand? Listen now, listen girl, listen. Almost 100 Rych Babes have already grabbed the $1 Martini ebook, because listen, we're not just sipping, we're selling. In my book, I teach you the 5 psychological sales triggers that real brands use to convert without chasing. Reciprocity reciprocity, like social proof, authority, commitment, consistency, and also commitment, consistency, and scarcity. Okay, and guess what? Tony Montana used every single one of them, but he didn't know how to actually sustain it, and that's where you're different. Like, you gotta learn it, you gotta master it, and then you gotta monetize. Okay, so grab the $1 martini, girl, while the bar is still open, babe. It's not about the $1, it's about the power. And subscribe, because listen, next we're going to be breaking down Ghost from Power and why that man was the blueprint for running the game with a suit and a system. All right, so listen, babe, this is Money, Power, Respect on Robin Milan, and listen. I'll see you at the top because the bottom is too crowded. Until next time, rich babes, stay rich. Love you.
Money, power, respect. Money, power, respect.